everybody, this is Angela, and you're listening to Five Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is the podcast that gives you five NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. However, we are in the off season, so we are going to talk March Madness. Today, we are joined by our special guest, Nant. It's his first time with us, so El Gato, be nice.
I sure will. Nance is well versed in sports. I'm sure he's going to give us a solid pick and give us some good commentary.
Hey, thanks for being with us today, Nance.
Yes, ma'am. Glad to be here.
All right, so my first pick is going to be Drake plus 6.5 over Missouri. Drake is 18-1 in their last 19 games, and the one loss was by 2 points. Mizzou, on the other hand, is going the opposite way, having lost 5 of their last 7 games. Drake's guard, Bennett Sturts, is averaging 19 points a game. Drake does also have a tough defense, and I think this will affect the Tigers' game. So give me Drake getting 6.5. What are your thoughts on this game, Nance?
I like Missouri. Missouri minus 6.5 on that. With me, a lot of these are a field. Okay, on these first round games, they're number 6 for a reason, and Drake's number 11 for a reason. On some of these early games, I tend to listen to the experts as far as the committee goes. There's going to be a lot of these games where they are spot on. The committee knows exactly what they're talking about. Now, you move the lines in there, with the point spread. Okay, well, that kind of evens things out. Yeah. So on this game, it's just kind of a feel. It's a first round game. I think there's going to be some surprises in the first round. We all know that. I don't think this is one of them. I think I'll go with Missouri on this.
Hey, El Gato, how about this game? What do you think?
Well, I like Drake at plus 6.5. And to your point, Missouri has not. I mean, they did not finish the season very well. Of course, they played in a tough SEC schedule. I think that's why they're getting maybe the lower seed. They're getting a lot of respect from the league that they played in. Tough league, top to bottom. And Drake, of course, to your point, have good guard play, good defense. They won their conference. They play a methodical offense where they pass the ball and they look for the high percentage shot. I think that's going to frustrate Missouri. With them playing a slower type of game, I like that plus 6.5. I think the possessions are going to be limited and not go, fast break pace like they do in the SEC. So I'll take Drake at plus 6.5. I like that one.
I agree with El Gato on the SEC getting a lot of respect. Did y'all happen to see that 14 out of the 16 teams made the dance? SEC is where it's at. That is a strong conference. We all know that. Y'all are liking the Drake thing, but SEC, they play tough conference. They play tough schedules. I'm going to go against you there, guys.
Okay.
I like it. See. All right. Hey, my second pick is going to be the Battle of the Bulldogs. This is Georgia and Gonzaga. I'm picking Georgia plus 6 over Gonzaga. Georgia started the season 14-2, and then they struggled a bit, but ended the season 4-1. They did beat Florida 3 weeks ago. Gonzaga is 3-5 versus top 25 teams. Georgia has one of the best defenses, so I think they'll hold. So I'm going Georgia Bulldogs. What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
On this one, I'm going to go against you, Angela. Gonzaga, way back when, I know we all can remember when they were always the Cinderella team coming into the tournament. And, if they won a game or two, everyone was totally surprised. Now, the last several years, 5 to 7 years probably, they're expected to compete and to win and to advance in the tournament. I think this team, they struggled. Yes, they won their conference tournament, though. They finished 4-5 to end the season. So did Georgia. Georgia, of course, I know I mentioned this earlier, in that tough SEC conference schedule. They have quality wins against St. John's, Kentucky, and Florida. But I think the way that Gonzaga is going to play this game, and they do have a deep bench too. I'm talking about Gonzaga. I think they're just going to out-execute Georgia. So I'm looking like maybe an 80 to 71 type of game where Gonzaga pulls it off by 9, maybe at the free throw line at the very end as Georgia's trying to foul them and try to get back in the game. So I'm going to go with Gonzaga on this one at -6. What do y'all think?
All right, Nance, are you going with the SEC team?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
SEC team getting 6 points. Okay, Gonzaga is the second highest scoring team in the nation. I get that. But the mystique is gone. Their days were years back. I don't like them. They're both Bulldogs. I'm going, okay, well, who's getting the points and who's giving the points? Why do they have to confuse us like that? Pissing me off. Anyway, so yeah, I like Georgia. Again, SEC, show the respect, getting points. Yeah, I'm going to go with Angela on this. I'm in full agreement with you.
Hey, Nance, you have a third pick for us?
I'm looking at the Louisville-Creighton game. Again, this is one of those early round games. You got an 8 and 9. You know, they're going to be pretty well matched up. Point spread's only 2 points. Okay, some of these point spreads are off the chart. We know that. They got a senior guard, Chucky Hepburn. You guys heard of this guy with the hair? Wow. Yeah. Okay. If he gets on fire, he's shooting 35% from the three-point line. Solid. If he has a game, I think Louisville's going to cover at -2.
All right. What are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
On Louisville, I'm going to go ahead and go with -2. I think they played in a tough conference. I think they have some good guard play, deep bench, a lot of scoring from a lot of different players. Creighton, I really didn't watch a whole lot of their games this year. I know they come from a mid-conference, but you can't. Those mid-conference teams always show up pretty well in the tournament. They normally surprise a bunch of teams. Really, they can beat a major conference team at any time. They play some quality basketball. But with Louisville having some solid play, I'm going to go with Louisville, and the point spread is not that high, only -2.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the more traditional team on this one, maybe a more tougher team, played in a tougher conference. I'll go with Louisville on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you guys on this one. Louisville, they've got a deeper bench, I think. And like Nance said, they've got some, and you, El Gato, as well. They've got some good players on their team. I like the stat that Nance gave about the 35% three-point shooter. Man, and I don't know why, but it seems like with March Madness, the team that can shoot 3 points is usually the one that advances. So I like this pick. I'm going with Louisville -2. Hey, Elgato,
right.
Do you have a fourth pick for us?
I have a good pick here, a good matchup, as a matter of fact. VCU +3 against BYU. VCU is coming in as the underdog, but I think they have it the other way around. I think VCU, they come in with a solid defense. They come in with solid rebounding. They'll lock you down on defense, full court, the full 94 feet, whatever that is. And, they impose their will traditionally on the other team on how they want the game, the pace of game to turn out. So I like VCU in this one. BYU, of course, a solid team in the Big 12. They have excellent depth on the bench. They've got about 8 or 9 players that can score the basketball. It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough matchup, but I'm going to take VCU that has the tougher defense and the better rebounding in this game and getting points with 3, so I'll take them.
All right. What are your thoughts on this game, Nance?
I agree. I like VCU with this. Again, this is a number 6 versus 11 matchup. First round, VCU getting points. I like the fact that VCU is shooting 74.4% from the charity stripe. And, when it gets down to the final minutes, that can be key.
Yeah.
That can be key.
Absolutely.
And they've got about a 5% advantage in that stat over BYU. And I think BYU's a little banged up. I think one of their star guys is still doubtful. That Kenan Catchings is what I'm hearing, that he might not play. So that could be a factor. So, yeah, VCU seems to be hot right now, getting some points. Again, I like the guys that can hit from the 15-foot line at the free throw line.
There you go.
Last couple of minutes, that's always crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I'm going with VCU as well, getting 3. VCU won the Atlantic 10. They have 4 players averaging 10 plus points I think going back to the 3-point stuff, BYU, I think, relies too much on their 3-point shooting. I think VCU is going to be too tough for BYU. So I'm going to go with you on this pick, El Gato. I'm taking VCU +3.
All right.
How about
everybody's on board once again?
Yep. Yeah. How about a 5th pick for us, El Gato?
Yeah, I've got another matchup, mid conference type of team in St. Mary's. You know, they won the Western Conference over Gonzaga. They didn't win the tournament, but they beat Gonzaga in that conference. They're getting -4 against Vanderbilt out of the Southeastern Conference, and St. Mary's shows up winning their last 4 or 5. Vandy, on the other hand, losing their last 3 games. Vanderbilt, however, they're strong both offensively and defensively on the boards. That's going to make it a good challenge for St. Mary's to score the basketball inside. But they've got some good 3-point shooters. They play fast, and they got solid guard play. I've heard a lot of commentators say throughout the years, as long as I've been keeping track of March Madness, if you have excellent guard play, and most recently, maybe the last 10 or 15 years, to your point, Angela, if you can hit the three-pointer, teams usually advance that way. So I'm going to take St. Mary's and their guard play and their overall team speed over Vanderbilt's struggling their last 3 games, not being so strong offensively. So I'll take St. Mary's on this one.
All right. What are your thoughts on this game, Nance?
Well, I'm going to give a lot of props and respect to El Gato on here, and let me tell you why. Vanderbilt, check me if I'm wrong, but I think they lost to the University of Texas. Is that right? And
yeah,
I didn't see Vanderbilt play much this year, but I did see Texas, and they suck. I'll tell you right now. And look, I'm wearing the damn. That's my school. That is my school. But I gotta be real. I gotta be real here. Okay.
Keeping it real, Nance. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Again, I didn't see St. Mary's play much this year, but yeah, Vanderbilt, they just hadn't impressed me. And again, with the loss to UT, sorry, I'm going with El Gato's pick with St. Mary's. I agree.
Well, I'm going to go against you guys on this one. I'm taking Vanderbilt getting 4.
What?
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to win the game, but I think this game is going to be a very close game. So that's why I'm going to go with Vanderbilt +4. Now, Vandy has lost 6 of their last 9, but they faced elite teams in those games. They beat Tennessee, they beat Kentucky, and they beat the Aggies, Texas A&M. St. Mary lost to Gonzaga in their conference finals and only scored 51 points. So I think this is going to be a close game. That's why I'm getting the team getting the points. But I think Vanderbilt can actually win this game. So I am going against you guys.
That's going to be an interesting game. A big SEC team versus a West Coast mid-conference team. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, right. I'm excited. When they talk about madness, March Madness, it really is madness. It was madness for me. So,
yeah, it is madness.
Yeah.
And it starts tonight, right? It starts probably right now.
Plays tonight. Last night's game, actually, I know you said it starts tonight. It started last night. And it was an exciting game.
Is that the game with the buzzer beater?
Yep, buzzer beater game.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, I missed that. I did catch the second game, North Carolina. Oh my God, they just went to town on that team. Wow. San Diego State. That was an ass whooping.
I think they're played with a chip on their shoulder.
Oh yeah.
It was said that they didn't belong in the tournament. You tell a team they don't belong somewhere to play, boy, they come out ready to fight.
Yeah.
And that they did.
Big time.
They wanted to prove a point, and they did. Give us a bonus pick.
The Tennessee Volunteers -18.5 over Wofford. Tennessee plays hard. They're gutsy. They look great in the tournament. They've got a guard, that Zakai Ziegler. I don't know if y'all have seen him play, but he is something else to watch. Again, hello, SEC. And, they were beaten by Florida in the tourney final. Y'all saw that. Mm-hmm. They were down, I want to say, over 20 points at one point, and they battled back. Now, that's heart. And a team with heart, it's like the old 1955 Damn Yankees musical. Y'all know it. You love it. Sing it with me. You got to have heart. All you really need is heart. So they've got heart, and that'll win games. Unless, of course, it helps if you can put the ball in the basket, too. The hell with heart. Let's score some points.
But that's always helpful.
You know what I'm saying? They've got grit. This will be a statement game for them coming off that loss from Florida. So that's what I mean. They're going to come in, Florida, kick their butt, national television, all that. So they're going to want to make a statement against lowly Wofford. 18.5 points. Yeah, that's scary. That's always scary, in these first round games because, underdog comes out in those first 5, 7, 8 minutes. They come out to a lead. It's kind of hard to battle back. And so, 18.5 is a little scary, but I think they'll pull it off. I think they're gonna spank Wofford pretty good. What do y'all think?
All right. What do you think, El Gato?
Well, it's up to 19 now. To Nance's point, Tennessee always plays tough. Rick Barnes always has a team playing tough defense, tough defensively and offensively on the rebounding. They always have either one or two guards that can play. They always have 2 or 3 solid guys that can come off the bench. To Nance's point, I think that they're just going to wear out Wofford. I think this is a relaunch after losing the SEC title game. I'm going to take a flyer here. I'm going to go with Tennessee, even at -19. I expect them to really make a point and relaunch in this tournament and make a good, solid, deep run, maybe into the Elite Eight.
And let me also remind y'all, Tennessee beat Auburn in the tourney, and Auburn's number one seed. So something to consider. Just saying.
All right.
Well, I'm going to go with you guys. Tennessee -19. Wofford was only 10-8 in conference play, and it was a weak conference. It's the Southern Conference. Tennessee's in the SEC conference, as we know. Tennessee has the 3rd-ranked defense in all of Division I. And I know Nance mentioned their player Ziegler, but Chaz Lanier, I think he's going to help this team. He's the more experienced senior guard, and he's averaging 18 points. So I really like this. I think Tennessee's going to come out. It's a lot of points. I know it's a lot of points, but I think they're going to come out strong and want to score a lot of points over Wofford. I'll take Tennessee.
All right.
Amen, sister. I like it. It.
Who do you think's going to win it all? What do you think, Nance?
Oh, my gosh. Well, the easy bet would be to say, well, it's going to be somebody from the SEC, right? Am I right?
That would be
I think
a good bet.
I'm beating that dead horse pretty good here. Duke could be strong. There's concerns about Cooper Flagg, right? With the injury being hobbled, everybody held their breath a week or so ago when he twisted his ankle. I think he'll be back, but I'm going to go with Florida. I'm going with Florida. Just when they beat up on Tennessee, they look pretty strong. I've seen them in another couple of games. I like what I see there. So that's my pick. I'm going with Florida. Gosh, there's so many good teams this year that could make it there.
What do you think, El Gato?
Well, I'm going to go with the Houston Cougars out of the Big 12.
Wow.
Good pick. They've
got a solid coach that can get a team to play a certain style, and that is usually a suffocating defense. They can score the ball inside, solid rebounding team. They can shoot the three-pointer. They've got 2 or 3 solid guards. Well, they've got 2 starting guards that are solid. They've got 1 or 2 that can come off the bench and score. They go about 9 deep on the bench where they can bring in a second wave, and they play just as tough as that starting lineup. So I'm going to go with Houston on this. My sleeper team is going to be St. John's.
Wow.
I think
okay.
a Rick Pitino coach team.
Oh, my.
I mean, they're 2nd seed. I forget which side it's on. I think it's on the west. So that means maybe they'll have to get through Florida. But
it'll be tough.
I mean, Rick Pitino has been building that team up for the last 2 or 3 years, I believe. And now he's got the players that can play his style of ball. That's going to be my sleeper team in St. John's.
I'm going with Duke. And I know that's chalk. As long as Flagg is playing, and everything I've read, he's playing. But even if he wasn't, this team won without him. So
True.
Yep. So I think that they've got a well-rounded team. So I'm going with Duke. I do have a bracket that has Florida out there, but Florida can't beat a team or be beaten a team and then let them come back. So if they're going to want to win this, they're going to have to keep that lead because, they're going to have to come out strong, score quick, and keep that lead, not let a team come back.
And Angela and Nance, I know you know this too, in March Madness especially, once the momentum swings, if you have, like maybe a little double-digit lead, 12, 11, 12, 13 points, and you give life to the other team, before you know it, the other team's on a 9-0, 10-0 run, late in the game, with 6 minutes left. So to your point, Angela, you're right. When a top-seeded team has someone down, they've got to close it out for sure.
Yeah.
Close it out.
Talking about those 10-0, 12-0 runs, that's when coaching comes in and call those strategic timeouts. I've seen some coaches out there just let them play. Okay, they're getting their butts kicked, but they need to play through this. No, bullshit. Call that strategic timeout, break that string. It's going to happen. You're going to have these runs, and you got to shut that momentum down. So, it might be overlooked, but those strategic timeouts in the coaching, those are crucial.
Yeah. I think obviously they stop momentum for the other team that has it. So I agree with you on that, Nance.
I'm looking forward to a good tournament. I mean, who knows what will happen? There's going to be some upsets, like there always, right? There always is an upset in one or two brackets. What do they call it? The bracket buster, right?
Yeah.
Bracket buster.
When a 12 or 11 seed wins and they advance maybe 2 spots, and the whole quadrant or one half of that bracket is just gone to mush. But that's the exciting part, right? You see these teams break loose and advance, and we'll see what happens.
And the buzzer beaters. I love a good buzzer beater. How many are we going to have in this first round? Oh my God! So
we already had one yesterday.
Yes.
Any final thoughts, Nance?
Well, I would say this, I'm glad y'all invited me on to talk college basketball rather than pro. I did spend 7 years in college getting a 4-year degree. So I do have kind of a better feel for college, just saying. So there's that. And another final thought I had, we've talked about how a great time of year this is. And just a little PSA for the gentlemen out there in the audience, great time to get a vasectomy. Get it during this time. The doctors tell you just lay in bed for 3 or 4 days afterwards, icing your nether regions, having a cooler full of beer next to you, and your significant other can't say squat. You don't have to mow the lawn. You don't have to go out with the weed whacker. You're under doctor's orders to lie in bed and watch basketball day and night. People, that's my little PSA. All I wanted to say.
Any final thoughts, El Gato?
Well, my final thoughts are that March Madness always brings surprises. The cream tends to rise to the top or stay at the top. In this case, if you're a number 1, number 2 seed, there's always that one or two, a couple of teams in either quadrant, in either bracket, that can make a nice little solid run, as I mentioned earlier. And that's the fun part, to watch those teams that are not given a chance to advance, and they prove the rest of the committee and the teams that they're playing wrong. They play tougher, they play maybe looser, and they pull out those victories. And that's the fun part, watching those young men advance in those pressure games. Love it.
Well, my final thought is NFL kickoff is September 4th of
this year.
Right. And we are 168 days away.
Love it. Yep. NFL, the only league, right?
The only. Hey, but March Madness is fun as well. Well, if you've made it to this point in our podcast, we just want to thank you. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also hit the subscribe and like button on our YouTube channel at 5 Picks and a Chick. You can also find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hey, thank you, Nance, for joining us today.
You're welcome. Invite me back anytime. This was fun.
All right. Make sure to join us. We'll have another podcast this Friday that we'll be recording. Big Zay will be with us, El Gato. And as always, thank you to El Gato for being part of 5 Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, bet.
Bet.
And that's
right.
That's
a wrap.
Yeah.